Good afternoon, and this is Mark at Dice Tales, and this is another tale of the world of Mantica. This time the dwarves' supplies are in dire straits as a Night Stalker's Vanguard has found their supplies and is sweeping across the countryside, destroying any supplies it finds in its path. So let's move on to a battle of dwarves versus Night Stalkers in a Control the Supplies mission. Here's my Night Stalker band. I got 2 Reapers, a Butcher, the non-command Butcher, 1 Scarecrow, 3 Spectres, and Phantom, and 2 Horrors. It's not an optimal list by any means because I actually forgot my cards and my tokens on this game. So I just sort of knocked the list based on what I had. I didn't even give anyone spears, I believe. It was just one of those quicker games. I didn't mind too much because the person I'm playing is relatively new. So it's another one of those, I won't say it, well, it's a demo instruction game, so I'm happy with what I've got. I've got large creatures, I've got ranged creatures. It's a pity I don't have any spellcasters, but sometimes spells can be a bit much on a first game. This is my opponent's team. I didn't get a close-up, but he's got an Earth Elemental, a Dwarf Commander of some kind, lots of little dwarves, and 2 Dwarf Rangers who deployed in advance. This campsite is one of our objectives. So we've got a campsite, a well, and then a stash just on a hill on the right. This is the power roll on the first turn for me. And this is my leftmost deployment, so I know he's deployed those dwarves by that campsite. So I want to try and I disrupt them in some ways. These are my fastest units, a flying unit. That's not a mounted Reaper this time, that is 2 Reapers and a Shadowhound. And a Horror who can back them up with Vicious should need be. I'm hoping the forest there will slow him down. It'll be half movement through that terrain. And his other dwarves are he's got other dwarves on that corner coming forward as well. It's just a close-up overview shot. My Phantom's flying over the pond, but everyone else is avoiding that as an obstacle. And here he's shot his arrows, those little light effects I've added to the picture, and taken down my first oncoming Reaper. The rest of my force has gone up the middle. There's a lovely sort of cover barrier of these stone walls by this farmhouse here. And here you can see the well in the middle there, and to the right, just by the turn token dice, turn 2, you can see there's another stash on that hill, which is objective 3. So the campfire of the campsite, the well, and the stash there. He's moving an Earth Elemental up in the middle. He's got a heavy crossbow hiding behind the farmhouse there, and his leader and a couple of axe dwarves also coming up where his hands are, just there. This is turn 2. Turn 2's power dice. I've sent some Scarecrows and a Spectre just to try and nab that right hand objective, and the majority of my force on the left with my big hitters coming to confront his Earth Elemental in the middle of the battleground there. My Shadowhound finally makes it to the trees. I fatigue him to try and get him that little bit closer, hoping that if I can get a turn, I'm not going to get initiative, but hopefully next turn I can sort of remove that fatigue, and then next turn I can charge in and stop those pesky dwarves firing. When they fire, they do a group action fire, and they get an extra dice each for doing that, so it's quite lethal. It's like 5 or 6 if he's throwing power dice at it as well. Quite a nifty combo. I think this is going on to turn 4. Woeful lack of power for me, so I'm just slowly creeping up on that pond side. And his dwarves activate first, so they take out my Shadowhound. But at least they focus on that. It lets my other Reapers and Horrors come closer. Hansel and Gretel here, they're ready to pounce on the right-hand stash on turn 4. My Reapers are closing in now, but again, I don't know if I won the initiative yet because I've lost at least 2 units. I don't think so, I can't remember on that, the complexities here. I think we missed. I originally had a Spectre on that centre well, and he's engaged it with dwarves and the elemental. My Butcher then charges in. I think he takes out the original Spectre. So my Butcher Commander charges in and tackles with one of his Dwarves. And my Phantom moves around to try and engage the Elemental. Mainly just wanting to pin it down. I don't want to fight and get retaliated on. And I'm hoping that my Butcher can then move around and engage the Elemental with the friend bonus. It's not going well for me over here, though. Then we have great nerve rolls, so I'm hanging in there, keep passing and getting knocked down, standing up, passing, but eventually getting closer. His rabble of dwarves are really struggling with that forest there. They're mostly bracing and moving forward very slowly. The commander is doing some sort of dwarven bonus ability where they can move forward 3 inches as well, which is fairly useful for them. But dwarves really don't like forests. So this must be turn 4 with a lot of power this time. Hansel and Gretel move on to score me points. Well, it's the end of the game scoring, but they're there and waiting. There's nothing nearby them to tackle them or take it off. And I can maybe get the Spectres to start throwing at anything that comes free in the middle of the battlefield there, with the height bonus as well. This melee just goes on for the entire game. It's around about turn 4. We're scrapping away. He's winning it. He's pulling it back. He's got the bodies in there. But he's all tucked away and all focused on that objective. The fight in the middle. So his Elemental has taken out my non-command Butcher, so my heavy-hitting Butcher. And that's that picture there. The Horror's moved in so he can give Vicious to everyone nearby. Photo from the game. And I think we call it game there. I think I missed a picture where I take out his... there we go. I do take out his Elemental and I take out the Dwarf Assistant by the well as well, so that means I'm now claiming 2 objectives, the centre one and the one on the right. And he's then got to tackle through these 4 guys, take one of those 2 characters off the well objective to try and neutralise, or get one of his guys in contact with it as well. Though he'll have to try and get around it. You can't move within an inch of an opponent, so I've got enough bodies there to try and block that terrain. Even though most of my guys are on 1 hit point, so they've all been knocked down at 1 point, I've got the bodies, so we actually call it there at turn 4, thinking his slow-moving dwarves couldn't get across. I think even if they neutralise the central objective, because he hasn't scored a turn, I think I'll be a point ahead. We somehow sort of work out. It'll be a close one. If he can score it, it's in my favour at the moment. It was a learning game. It's getting near the end of the night. We had a lot of rules thrown at us. We were doing group activations, working out when it was better to not retaliate and then have an activation and then use a power dice to have a second attack and stuff like that. Very interesting game. Lots to learn going on, and nice simple armies. Let's see what we do next. And that's just that ongoing fight. That grey stone statue there, that's his leader. And I don't think we get too much. Yeah, that's background. So it's a short and sweet battle report. Just another person turning up to the Altrincham group asking for a demo game. So we're always up for that at the Altrincham group, and I'm always up for that at the Forge as well. So get on those message boards on Facebook, join those groups, and let us know if you fancy a game. And we've got a variety of armies, or bring your own army, and we'll definitely get going. I'm sure we'll be having another campaign of this starting again soon. And we'll see how that takes us. So, Mark on Dice Tales, signing out. Another Vanguard, a battle report. Thank you very much. Good night.